What's in the box?
Hey folks, welcome to the first episode of What's in the Box? A series of board game unboxing videos. Now, up to this point in time, I haven't really seen the logic of these unboxing videos. However, I got this sucker in the mail recently, and for some reason I just couldn't rip it open. I had to do a video on it. So, hopefully this video will accomplish a couple of things. First of all, we will see what's inside the D&D 5th edition starter set. Plus, we'll look at starter sets of yore, and also look at D&D's current competition. So let's rip this sucker open, shall we, and see what's inside. Alright, let's break this puppy open. Now, first thing that struck me is the artwork. The artwork's actually quite atmospheric, quite evocative. I'm a big fan of the cover art. It's a fairly large box, you'll notice as well. And when you actually break it open and look inside, it actually looks like there's a lot going on here. As soon as you open the box, you'll notice that there is a rather nice set of polyhedral dice. These are pretty sharp looking. Then you've got the starter set rulebook. This is 32 pages. That's actually fairly in-depth for a basic set. As you flip through, you'll notice that the artwork is fairly sparse. However, things seem to be reasonably well organized. The art kind of runs hot and cold in this starter set rulebook. And then you've got the real crown jewel of the set, which is the starting module Lost Mine of Phandelver. It's no less than 64 pages. That's really, really phenomenal for a basic set. I mean, it's got some heft to it. This is literally a campaign to kick off your adventures in 5th edition. I think the illustrations in here are considerably better, especially, I mean, these maps are phenomenal. I think actually graphically this is certainly more appealing than the actual rulebook itself. But these maps are just phenomenal. Like, I mean, there's a lot of content in here. There really is. The monster illustrations are great. There is a rules index, which is absolutely fantastic. I think this is a beautiful product and probably worth the price of admission alone. Then we've got some starting characters if you want to jump into things right away. You've got a level 1 high elf wizard. I like the fact that it's not just races, but there's also branch offs to the races as well. So on the back side you'll see the racial abilities, you'll see the class abilities. Here's a rogue level 1 Lightfoot halfling. Again, racial descriptions and class information on the back. You've got a level 1 cleric who is also a hill dwarf. Details, a lot of great detail on the back for role-playing. I find that there's a lot of like little chrome included actually in this iteration of D&D, which actually helps with the role-playing aspect of the game. Here is a level 1 fighter, human, and just for some additional variety, there is an additional human fighter included in the game. Now, this just looks like an advertisement for D&D Encounters. But if you flip it over, hey, look at that, there's another character sheet, so you can just photocopy that and make your own. And then, totally inexplicably, there is this big insert included in the box. I have no idea why this is here. In fact, the box itself could very easily have been half of its size. It seems to me like they've gone back to sort of an older school style basic set. For example, this is the 1980 Molave basic set, and when you open this up, then you see the polyhedral dice, the old school ones that you had to color in with a crayon, and then you've got the basic rule book, and you've got a campaign style detailed starter adventure. But I don't know why they went with the ginormous box. Like, for example, this is a starter set from 2000, and just look how much smaller it is, so I just don't know why they didn't save on packaging and make a smaller box. 3/3.5 version of the game featured miniatures pretty heavily, so those box sets almost justified their size. We had a bunch of miniatures usually, we had dice, quick start rules in the first adventure, a bunch of character sheets all pre-generated, the advanced rule book, and then you had a lot of terrain templates as well too, basically dungeon geomorph type things, where you could make a random dungeon or just replicate the terrain in the adventures included in the game. Finder came along and kind of created the high watermark for basic sets. So in this one, there's a set of really beautiful premium dice, some stand-ups, and the stand-ups are used for, instead of using plastic miniatures, they actually decided to go with a whole bunch of punch-out monsters, which I think was a great idea. These are absolutely awesome. We also have a fold-out map, which represents some open terrain that you can do anything with on the back side. Plus, on this side is the dungeon for the actual adventure itself. And then, finally, there was the 2 fantastic guides, one for the Game Master, one for the players. And also some pre-generated characters as well, and some character sheets included in the box as well. Now, considerably more expensive package, and the focus was a little bit different, but this was really a fantastic production. Okay, so what do I think of the 5th edition D&D starter set? I am quite impressed by it, I must say. I like the design ethos of the game, which harkens back to earlier iterations of the game, where basically you would get a rule book, which is fairly straightforward and clear. You would get a very detailed campaign-style module, which would kickstart your games, and a set of premium dice. I just kind of wish they'd actually packed it into a smaller box, save on packaging a bit, but that's neither here nor there. I like the look of the game. I especially like the the organization and the graphics design, primarily in the Lost Mine of Phandelver, which looks like an absolutely fantastic open sandboxian type module with some great illustrations. So all told, I think it's actually a really good value. I talked about the Pathfinder box set being like the high watermark, but it's considerably more expensive as well too, for all the stuff that you get in it, and I actually got this at a fairly decent price. So I say pick it up, guys. Now, I'm going to hopefully do a full review of this very soon. It should appear here on my gaming blog. This is the address, hopefully appearing here somewhere at the bottom of the screen. And maybe even something that amounts to a audio podcast of a gaming session. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and game on.